I need you to stop scrolling and listen to me very carefully, because the story we have been told about the object known as 3I Atlas just fell apart. For months, we have been told this is a scientific anomaly. We have been told it is a rock, a comet, a frozen remnant of a dead star system. But as of December 31st, 2025, this is no longer a story about astrophysics. This is now a story about national intelligence. I want you to go to the comment section right now. I want you to type the word rock if you believe the official narrative that 3I Atlas is just a piece of ice drifting through the void. Or I want you to type the word Golomar if you suspect that the silence from our government is hiding something that changes human history. Do it now, because by the end of this video, you are going to understand why that specific word Golomar is the smoking gun we have been waiting for. Let's start with the hard evidence that dropped on New Year's Eve. A Freedom of Information Act request was filed with the Central Intelligence Agency asking for records related to 3I Atlas. Now normally, if you ask the CIA about a comet, they ignore you. They tell you to go talk to NASA. They say no records found because they don't track chunks of ice, but that is not what happened. The CIA issued a formal response, documented under reference number F2026-00231, and they used a very specific, very dangerous legal phrase. They stated that they can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records related to this object. In the world of espionage, this is called the Glomar response. It is a legal shield named after a secret Cold War operation to recover a sunken Soviet submarine. The government only uses this response when the mere act of admitting that a file exists would reveal classified sources and methods. Think about what that means. Why does the CIA have files on a comet that are so sensitive they cannot even admit they exist? If it's just a rock, there are no sources and methods to protect. The only reason to invoke Glomar is if 3I Atlas is being tracked by classified military assets or if the data they have collected suggests it is a threat. While the intelligence agencies are locking down the files, the scientific data is screaming that something is wrong. We need to talk about the chemical composition of this object because what the Very Large Telescope in Chile just found does not belong in a comet. Spectroscopic analysis has detected atomic nickel in the coma of 3I Atlas. In nature, nickel exists in comets, but it is locked away in mineral compounds. It is bound to iron or sulfur. To see atomic nickel individual atoms floating freely, you usually need intense heat, like grazing the surface of the sun. But 3I Atlas was nowhere near the sun when this data was taken, so why is it there? From an engineering perspective, nickel is the backbone of superalloys. It is what we use to build jet engines and spacecraft hulls because it withstands extreme heat and corrosion. Seeing atomic nickel in the wake of this object is like seeing exhaust fumes coming out of a hose. It suggests that what we are seeing isn't just melting ice, it might be eroding machinery. Then there is the water. The James Webb Space Telescope measured the ratio of carbon dioxide to water on 3I Atlas and the numbers are broken. In a normal comet, that ratio is low. On 3I Atlas, the ratio is 7.6. That is roughly 700% higher than what we see in our own solar system. A deviation of that magnitude isn't just a variation, it is a completely different chemical profile. It suggests this object was born in a place or built in a place that looks nothing like our home. But the most disturbing piece of this puzzle isn't what we saw, it's what we were prevented from seeing. We need to talk about the Maven anomaly. In late 2025, as 3I Atlas passed near the orbit of Mars, NASA had a golden opportunity. The Maven spacecraft, which has been orbiting Mars since 2014, was perfectly positioned to get a close-up look. It could have given us high-resolution data that would settle the debate instantly. But just as the window of opportunity opened, Maven went dark. NASA officially reported a technical malfunction and the loss of telemetry. They blamed it on solar activity. I have reviewed the solar weather charts for those specific days. Ground stations and other satellites showed no unusual solar flare activity that would account for such a critical failure. The sun was quiet, yet the one camera that could have zoomed in on 3I Atlas suddenly went blind at the exact moment it mattered most. Maybe it was bad luck, or maybe someone pulled the plug because they knew what Maven was about to see. Now, look at the trajectory. 3I Atlas is not drifting aimlessly, it is heading for a precise rendezvous with Jupiter's Hill sphere, the region where the giant planet's gravity dominates. It is threading the needle to enter this specific gravitational corridor. If this were a natural object, the odds of it passing through this specific keyhole are astronomical. But if it is a craft, this is exactly what you do. You use Jupiter for a gravity assist to slow down or to sling yourself toward your next target. We are looking at a pattern that is impossible to ignore. We have a chemical signature that looks like industrial alloy. We have a trajectory that looks like a controlled maneuver. We have a malfunction that blinded our best sensor. And now we have the CIA telling us that they cannot talk about it without breaching national security. The Glomar response is the final piece of the puzzle. It is the government's way of telling us that the situation is real without saying a word. They are classifying an astronomical object because it is no longer astronomy. It is defense. So I am asking you again, look at the facts. Look at the silence. Is it just a rock? Or is the Glomar response the loudest admission we will ever get? Type your answer in the comments and stay tuned, because if the CIA is involved, this story is just beginning. The truth is out there, but they are trying very hard to make sure we don't find it.